So Suthu, thank you so much for making time to share your insights into the future of leadership. But before we walk into the future, can you please tell us a little bit about your background? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so where I grew up, so I am a product of a Soweto, Orlando East, to be precise. Grew up, born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s. With parents that were very focused on education and made that their primary mission and goal in life. And had a good education at Parktown Girls, and then went to University of Cape Town, where I got my technical training in a IT degree, so become information systems. And did entrepreneurship most of my career whilst working in corporate South Africa in between. And I now found myself here living my purpose, actually.
And Suthu, can you tell us what was your dream career when you grew up?
It's so shallow. It's so shallow. My dream career growing up was to be a TV presenter. And then I thought, okay, no, obviously that's not going to pay me much. I need to go and run my own business. So that later changed to running my own business of some effect. What that business was, didn't know.
Oh, well, am I right in saying you're still presenting to the nation?
We could say that presenting value, I hope, presenting solutions that are meaningful to small and medium enterprises.
And tell us, Suthu, who inspired you in your early days?
Sure, so many people. I think from an educational and career perspective, my older sister, who is 14 years older than me, and she was one of the first few cohorts of Black people that were accepted at UCT. So she went there many years before me. So that was okay, it is possible to actually get to university. And then my parents, they were both years in their, and that is basically how they sustained our livelihood and got us through education and school. And then over time in my career, managers and bosses that I've worked with. And then in my entrepreneurial journey, it's definitely been the entrepreneurs that have come before us and myself. So I was in the retail business specifically, and was particularly inspired by brands such as Stone Cherry that came before us. That was a retail clothing brand that had South African aesthetic to it. And then going deeper then into entrepreneurship, it was funders such as Pololo Teka, who is part of IDF, Identity Fund Managers, and that is a funding firm that funds business, that particularly Black business-owned firms. And just double-clicking into what she was doing, really inspired by the balls and the guts that she took to actually do that. And then going deeper into the entrepreneurship journey, I met Bev Padlett from the Foschini Group, who was the head of the Foschini brand itself, and just really inspired by her journey of managing such a large brand and a large part of the TFG business that I obviously can't divulge the value in terms of what she was running, but really doing it and doing it well.
Suthu, you're leading a very impressive career. You've been at the SME helm of many financial institutions. Looking back over your career, would you say there was a turning point? Or maybe a number of turning points?
Yes, absolutely. A few inflection points in my career. So I studied technology from a technical training perspective. So I started in that part of the corporate world, right? So I was a programmer for a few minutes, and then I was a business analyst, and then I was a project manager, and then I was a program manager, and then I was a product manager. And I did all of these things that were corporate related. And the inflection point came when I was 27 years old. And I realized, shucks, I actually don't want to pursue IT as a core competency in my life. So let me go and study a business degree. And the purpose of that business degree was just to pivot in my corporate career. But going through the business degree, it was a postgraduate diploma in business administration from Gibbs. I realized, oh, wait a minute, I actually want to start my own business. What my own business was, I didn't know, but it was through that journey. So I'd say that was inflection point number one. I went back into corporate and started my own business at the same time. And that's where Burgundy Fly was actually born. So that was my first inflection point. And like most entrepreneurs, the starting point is I want to make a lot of money and I want to be my own boss. And of course, then going through the journey, and I'll probably, to be prudent, this is what I thought in my head, to be prudent, probably have sold this business for 100 million. And then yeah, 8 years into the business, you realize that first of all, you're not your own boss. All your customers are your boss. All your suppliers are your boss. Your staff is your boss. So you really, the tables are quite turned in that regard. And the money doesn't come as quickly as I anticipated. But what was a valuable lesson that I treasure so deeply is, so I ran the business for about 14 years with my husband. And the realities that I faced as it related to raising funding for the business, managing staff members, and just understanding the dynamic of South Africa, right, and the importance of education and why employment is so important, and really then also growing a homegrown brand was a big inflection point. So I'd almost say that 14 years of running this business gave me a true essence and appreciation of what does it mean to run a business in a South African context. And so then the third inflection point is where I find myself now, where I'm now in a job that 100% serves people that were like me, right? When I was at a tender age of 27 with big hopes, big ambitions, big dreams. I had a university degree. I thought, I had corporate experience. So I really thought I had everything going for me and I should just really have an upward trajectory. And I came across so many hurdles along my journey, which now I am building propositions to help people like myself that started their business or that are mid-flight in their business so that their inflection points really just multiplies in terms of positive outcomes and increasing the probabilities of success.
So what would you say is driving you today? What is really motivating you to get up and face all these hurdles?
Because I know what is possible in this country. When I think of our unemployment rate, okay, let's start. What motivates me? I love this country. And I want to stay in this country and I want to stay in this country. And I want my kids to stay in this country. I think we've got the best country in the world, right? Having traveled to quite a lot of countries. And I'm taking it from your accent that you are not from SA, but you live in SA, right?
Right. That's right.
And maybe you can agree with me. I hope you can agree with me. This is a really great place to actually live, right? And having said that, for it to be livable, it's got to be livable for everyone, which means that people need to be employed. And with a 32% unemployment rate, that is one of my biggest driving forces. Having run my own business, opened 6 stores, had 15 designers, I generated 150 jobs. So I saw it in real life, what it means to start a business and to create employment. So I am so driven by, imagine if we could have like hundreds of my type of businesses, like that just solves the employment challenge that we have in South Africa. So I'm so excited and passionate of the opportunity of actually being a proper contributing member of the South African society to really, 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 really solving unemployment. And the way that I see that being done is by enabling and being a partner to small and medium enterprises for them to grow their businesses, to be profitable, to be highly sustainable, and to grow their employment rate, and so that we can all enjoy this amazing place that we're in.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Suthu, looking into the future, and I know it's a big question, but what does the future of leadership mean to you?
Sure. I think leadership has quite a broad scope, and it really it speaks to what leadership means to myself as an individual, and really how I impact those that are around me, that work with me, and almost creating a slight multiplier effect. So from a personal perspective, it is to lead with enthusiasm, with vision, with empathy, with kindness, with care, and most importantly, like creating a culture of thorough enjoyment in what we do, and everyone seeing the big picture and being driven by the big picture. And my personal leadership dream is that anybody that works with me must have changed in a big way and in a positive way as a result of having worked with myself as a leader. So to really positively impact people's lives and careers is the first aspect from a personal perspective. And then I think leadership as a corporate citizen is actually paying attention and seeing how do I enable collaboration for bigger things to emerge. I think we live in an interesting world where it's probably been a journey of me. And I think we're getting into an era of us. So as a corporate citizen, I'm seeing leadership as the ability to collaborate for greater good and greater purpose, and being able to partner, because you actually win in teams, and actually harnessing that team spirit from a large corporate perspective. Then I think as a citizen of this country, leadership actually means stop complaining about the government, what the government is doing and not doing. And that's probably why I'm not as involved in terms of the details of what's happening from a government perspective, and saying, what can I do in my job, in my role as a corporate citizen, to contribute to the societal South African challenges that face us. And that for me is where unemployment actually plays quite a big role in terms of my driving force. So can I be a leader that actually helps to solve for the unemployment challenge in South Africa?
Now, Suthu, as a leader who's building so many future leaders, in your opinion, what is it we have to do to build more leaders, to develop more leaders, to encourage more business leaders?
So say that again. Sorry, you cut a little bit and you broke
I'm
there.
saying, in your opinion, what is it we have to do more to develop future leaders, to build future leaders, and encourage future business leaders?
So I think I'm very much of everything starts from within. And so I think as a society, we are quite we've got our trauma in terms of the apartheid context, right? And what that comes with is doubt, hesitation, anger, and all of these things that are emotional barriers to actually breaking ceilings. And so I think the first aspect to cultivating leaders is to go through a journey of self-work within, and almost peeling the layers of the onion for everyone to recognize the potential that they have, because I deeply believe that every single person has got a part to play in society, life, and the human race. So I think that's the first aspect in terms of cultivating leadership, is working with the human beings first. And then I think the second aspect is actually just all of us as corporate citizens really paying attention to what is the bigger vision in terms of what we're trying to solve for. And so leadership is really about creating a vision, and taking that vision, translating it into an executable plan that then renders the outcomes that are beneficial for the society that you're in, for the shareholders, and for the customers that you're serving. It should actually be the priority should be the customers, the society, and the shareholders that you're serving. And so I think from like how we then cultivate leadership is actually expanding on the different visions, and almost helping people to see the opportunities that lie ahead.
Now, Suthu, these are challenging times as the world is stumbling from one crisis into the next. What is your advice for future leaders in terms of challenges? What are some of the biggest challenges they should expect to encounter and hopefully overcome in their career?
I love that question, because the reality is that opportunity arises out of a crisis and out of a challenge. So the first thing is, every single person, you have to embrace challenges, yeah? Because my favorite analogy comes from, I don't remember where it comes from, but it says, for you, the setback is typically the setup. So if you take the analogy of a slingshot, the further back you take it, the further the spring forward. So when I think of challenges, I always think, if something doesn't work the way that I wanted it to work, okay, there's something here for me to learn, that I need to find chisel for me to actually be able to springboard a little bit better forward. And so I think just approaching challenges with a mindset of, there's something here for me to understand and to learn from, that is actually setting me up for a further catapult and movement forward, is potentially an easier way of approaching challenges, as opposed to poor me, why me? Yeah.
Right. And Suthu, if you were to design a curriculum for future leaders, what are maybe one or two key skills you would like to factor in and maybe even teach?
Ooh, what are the key skills for future leaders that I would put in? I think self-belief is a big one. You gotta believe in yourself, and believing in yourself by way of working within yourself. And I think you can sense in terms of my earlier answers that I really believe that the work, self-awareness is such an important aspect, not self-consciousness. So I would love to teach that course, right? So being aware of your impact to others, and self-consciousness is, oh my gosh, I wonder what I look like. How's my hair? No. That's irrelevant. So when I'm talking to you, do you resonate with what I'm saying? Does it inspire you into action? Does it inspire you into running your own business or becoming a leader of yourself? And I think, yeah, it just starts with having a heightened sense of self-awareness that translates to, what is my impact onto other human beings? And I think if that can be cultivated, then we can create a multiplier effect of more leaders, more entrepreneurs, more brilliant corporate citizens that are in positions in corporate South Africa, and with an opportunity to make effective change. So I think that would be my favorite course that I would absolutely love to teach. And then the second one is resilience and EQ is extremely important as a leader. And I think resilience, because you see the bigger picture and you see the vision, and you need to bring everyone along the journey. And I would almost call the course understanding the psychology of everyone that is in your team and that you work with, because you're actually working with so many different personalities, but more importantly, you're working with so many amazing potentials. And so the journey of being able to unlock the potential in each and every single person that you work with actually enables magic to be created. So what is that journey of actually tapping into people's magic and tapping into people's potential? It would be a second course that I think I would love to teach, because I'm also learning it, but definitely would be one of my top favorites.
Thank you. I'm very much looking forward to that. And Suthu, as a mentor to so many future leaders, can you maybe share a success story or two where you mentored an upcoming leader and that person took your advice to heart?
Where I met an upcoming leader.
Where you mentored, yeah. Where you mentored an upcoming leader. You don't have to name names, but maybe just share the experience.
Sure, I can speak to that in my business journey, where a lot of the suppliers that were supplying us would typically supply us and then start their own retail stores. And luckily we came from an IT background, so we were not really very threatening to people that were in the design fraternity, because that wasn't our technical training. We were pure retailers, but we had always said to the designers that we worked with that our intention is that your brand actually grows grows in multiples as a result of actually supplying us and just taking them through the business of fashion and the business of retail. And I've got a designer who today is one of the top South African designers, and they've opened, quite a wide chain of stores all over South Africa. That they are, their business is really, really doing extremely well in the millions, in the double-digit millions business. And that is really, and having seen them starting off as a result of them just supplying my store, which had 6 stores at the time, and for them to have grown to their own stores has been quite amazing to see.
And Suthu, looking back over your own leadership career, are there any role models of leadership that you have encountered and maybe worked with that you would recommend future leaders should learn from?
Oh, I'd say my current boss. She is phenomenally amazing as a leader. She poses she has a combination of IQ, extremely intelligent. She's an actuary by professional training. So, those are the people that were like the boffins, we used to call them at school. And at the same time, she has a brilliant EQ and extremely self-aware, extremely conscious in terms of her impact, but more importantly, her greater vision for what this country can do, and her actively making a decision to participate in solving for the country's challenges by definitely employing myself, who is an let's say X, who's an entrepreneur. Let's not put the X. An entrepreneur in this particular role is a bet that she took, because she felt that we need somebody that has actually run their own business, that can develop something that makes sense for the real customers that we want to serve. And I think that was a very brave and bold move from her side. And working with her for the last 3 years, she's created space, she's created the enabling environment, which is really a formula for harvesting a great opportunity. So yeah, definitely the flowers go to my current boss as a brilliant leader who I've seen, and also managing not just my business, and she manages a large business, which is the corporate business of Old Mutual, and just managing the different types of businesses at different stages has really been quite a marvel to watch, and being able to manage that with finesse and EQ and IQ equally balanced has been quite amazing.
Now, Suthu, where can our listeners follow you and how can they connect with you?
Sure. So I am from LinkedIn. I am 100% there and available. And they can also connect with me via SME Go, because that is the platform that I'm building at Old Mutual for entrepreneurs. We've got a hotline and an email address that I typically will respond to. And yeah, I think those are the 2 platforms, but LinkedIn, in terms of any other pointers or entrepreneurial aspects that one would like to double click into, this is my passion and yeah, part of my life's work. So keen.
Now, last but not least, Suthu, what is your message to the millions of learners out there who are looking to finish school, to start a career? What are maybe 1 or 2 success principles that they should keep in mind?
Well, I'm a first principle person. Save a lot of your money from day one so that you can create options for yourself. If you decide that you actually want to be your own boss and you want your own company and you want to start your own business, you have got working capital to actually start your business. And that's the first aspect. And then the second is take every single human interaction, take every single experience as a learning experience to set you up for your future state, future states which typically are unknown. We have ideas, but nobody really knows what's going to actually happen. So be ready for a potential, which is your greatest potential, by actually along the journey of interactions, taking notes, reflecting, what am I learning? What could I do better? And how is this setting me up for my future self? I think are questions to ask oneself daily in preparation for a magnificent future for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suthu, for sharing your insights and your wisdom into the future of leadership and for building so many future leaders and the future of the country.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.